once that period of first trial occurs, it's all about the experience for guests to come back. What we are focused on is messaging the menu, as I just talked about, the high quality ingredients, our team members delivering on the ultimate guest experience, because that will drive frequency and loyalty among guests.
Welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast. My name is Nick Limsdale. My guest this week is Anne Pritz. She's the CMO of Integration Capital, overseeing Bobby's Burgers under Bobby Flay. With 2 decades of brand marketing across private, public, and equity-backed firms, Anne drives innovation. She's an independent brand consultant, previously at Royal Cup, Sbarro, and Tim Hortons. With expertise in strategy development, execution, and brand repositioning, Anne's leadership shapes Bobby's Burgers franchise and marketing approach. And I'm super excited. So welcome to the Press One for Nick podcast.
Hi, Nick. Thanks for having me. I'm excited too.
So, I guess the first question before I get into the meat of the conversation, no pun intended, I want to learn, how did you get into what you're doing today? I'm sure that you didn't just wake up one day in 5th grade and say, I want to now help Bobby's Burgers become this amazing experience and differentiate across nationwide.
Mm-hmm. Well, yes, I'd say when I was 5 or in the 5th grade, no, my parents would tell you that I had aspirations to be a vet. So, completely different career change sort of in adult life. But no, it did come to me very early in my career, and the it there is food. So my first role basically after graduating college was in marketing with Tim Hortons, as you just mentioned. And anybody who has been in food service knows once you get into it, it is in your blood. And, so I really throughout my career stuck with that. I've worked with the brands that you mentioned. I've helped to support franchisees in each of those brands, both domestically and internationally, grow and become profitable businesses, which is something that I find extremely fulfilling. I just genuinely love supporting franchisees. And so when the opportunity, came to take the Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay brand and ready it for, franchising, to make it a franchise model, it was just a beautiful opportunity that I could not turn away from, because it is going to result in, bringing Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay to neighborhoods nationwide, and then also, internationally down the road.
So it sounds like you got some big, hairy, audacious goals, which I'm excited about and looking forward to a Bobby's Burgers near me. But as we start thinking about Bobby's Burgers, and obviously it's an emerging concept,
right?
What are the plans to introduce, like you mentioned, the organization or the franchise opportunity to more consumers across nationwide and then eventually internationally?
Yeah. So where you would find Bobby's Burgers right now are in non-traditional restaurant settings. So you'll find us in casinos, across the country. You'll find us in airports, entertainment venues like Yankee Stadium, so go take in a Yankees game and get a Bobby's Burger. But truly what Bobby's vision is taking this concept into neighborhoods. So where you would find an inline or a freestanding restaurant, perhaps with a drive-through, in lifestyle centers where you shop and play, right? So it's all about bringing what we call our ultimate burger experience to communities, so that everyone can enjoy a menu by Bobby. And like I was saying, his vision with that was to do so as a franchise model. Bobby is very well known for his fine dining, and for, of course, the brand that he has built as a chef on the Food Network. But what he hasn't done yet is franchise one of his restaurant concepts. And so that's why he is leaning on our team to bring that to life and to do so successfully. And so one of the things that we absolutely knew we were going to do from the very beginning was focus on building a foundation to where franchisees, as they enter the system, they can be set up for success, right? You can't just sign on a dotted line that you're going to bring a Bobby's Burgers or a pizza concept or a chicken concept, and that you're going to be successful, no matter how experienced you are in the restaurant industry. The franchisor owes it to the franchisee to have those tools, those systems, the vendors in place and locked down, so that when they open the doors on the first day, that they are ready and they will be successful no matter what. So we've been laser focused on how we're going to introduce the brand into neighborhoods. We recently had some very exciting news, hit the wire, where we've got the greater Chicago area franchisee announced. We also recently announced the entire state of Colorado, where we have a franchise agreement in place. So, there's a lot of activity happening and more in the pipeline. So it's happening and it's coming.
That's great. Well, when the time comes, either at the state or at the city level, when it comes to the Ohio area, you will have to let me know, and I will bring all my people to Bobby's Burgers. That is for sure. Okay. One thing that you touched on was about Bobby Flay's reputation, and not just as a personal brand, but just as a culinary expert, I think is just awesome. And for somebody that focuses on customer experience, how do you maintain that experience across that entire food sector to distinguish them yourself on Bobby's Burgers? Because there's a lot of organizations that have a burger or a burger joint or a fast food, but how are you finding ways to, like you said, deliver on that ultimate burger experience?
Right. I think fundamentally, really at restaurant level, it boils down to two things, really: training and then listening. And, from a training perspective, I mean more than just learning the product builds, learning how to make the sandwiches, learning all of that. Truly, the ultimate burger experiences, it encompasses everything. We talk a lot and have been focused a lot on creating a seamless guest experience. And what that means to us is that no matter how you're engaging with the brand, right? No matter if it's online, if it's in social media, if it's at restaurant level, there's that consistency that comes across. And so training that from the beginning with our team members, right, is first and foremost and quite foundational for the brand, to be 100% honest with you. We do leverage other tools and systems and platforms to help us measure our guest success and guest feedback. And we could talk about those specifically, but truly, training is the first and foremost piece about how we take, accept, and readily make available ourselves for guest feedback. But the other thing is listening. And I think this is, again, I just use the word foundational, but I think it's critical for brands to not only make themselves available to receive feedback, it is a gift, but you have to then show that you are listening. And at Bobby's Burgers, we are 100% committed to that. So through those tools and systems where we collect guest feedback, or if a guest walks up to us at the counter and talks to one of our team members who have gone through our Ultimate Burger Experience training, they're equipped to handle that. But when feedback reaches us at the executive level or the management level, it's how you respond, not only how quickly you respond to positive feedback or feedback when a guest identifies an opportunity that we need to address, right? It's how quickly you do it, but just the simple fact that you do. And then you respond, letting them know that the voice has been heard and, appropriate actions are going to be taken, because we truly value and learn from guest feedback.
And I love that, because at the end of the day, that feedback is so valuable, regardless of it's positive or negative. It is an opportunity to improve.
Right.
And you hear that positive feedback and you're air high fiving the people that are at the franchise location. But if it is negative, you're able to not just maybe improve it at that location, but improve it across all locations eventually.
Right.
And I just think it's so important, because most organizations, regardless if it's 1 out of 5, how are we doing? Would you refer us to a friend? How easy was it to do business with us? Did we create the ultimate experience? Whatever that question is, there's way too many organizations, regardless if it's on the food side, or if it's an insurance company, to actually do something with the data that they now have.
Right.
And it's refreshing to hear somebody like yourself and Bobby Flay's Bobby's Burgers to actually do something with it, because that actually makes you feel as a consumer that you now are valued, and that you know who they are and you care about them as an individual.
Right.
And I just so kudos to you guys on actually stepping into that discomfort sometimes to identify and address those needs.
Right. I think some of the most valuable feedback truly comes from the opportunities that either, our franchisees themselves witness, again, or guests, right? Because it's important for us to understand we're not going to get it right all of the time. No one does, right? You put systems and tools in place so that you will exceed all expectations every single time. But if there's a hole somewhere and we're blind to it, then the only way we'll ever see it is through that feedback coming from guests or franchisees, right? So you have to be open to it, but then, like I said, you have to take action on it.
Yeah, you've skirted around the edges a little bit, and you kept bringing up these franchisees, and I think they're so important around the success of a franchise. Is obviously that franchisee and the training that goes along with it to make them and set them up for success. How important is it to consistently develop and invest into those franchisees?
Mission critical, number one. And I would say that that's not lost on anyone within our organization. Since we've all come from it, we know the role that they play, and they are the linchpin in the success of any brand. The franchisees that we have been fortunate to onboard with Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay are world class. They are multi-unit successful restaurant operators of many other brands. They just don't have burger in their portfolio, right? So they've worked really hard to establish their businesses, to establish their infrastructure, so that they are the go-to in their city or in their state for emerging concepts like ours. So we're extremely excited about that. Not only from a business perspective, do they match all of the criteria, but what's also very important to us when we're looking for franchisees is the culture fit. And I mean that. People know Bobby. People may know a little bit about our executive team, but as you're starting to sit down and engage with a potential franchisee and their team, that rapport and that willingness and excited for them being excited to kind of be first franchisees of an emerging concept, to be the entrepreneur and have that spirit to, again, like we just talked about, help us figure out things that maybe we don't know, right? I talked a lot about us readying this concept to be franchise and building that foundation. And while we are very confident in the foundation that we've built so far and the tools and systems that we have for franchisees, I am certain that there will be terrific learnings that are coming from these established operators right back to us. And we look forward to that. And that's how we will continue to grow and be nimble, learn from them, learn from us, and learn from our guests.
So what is the messaging, or maybe a better way, take 30 seconds or a minute, and what is the pitch that you have to people that are the right culture fit, that do have the right resources to be successful in the organization, and maybe they just haven't reached out and they're searching for a franchise to open, and maybe it is Bobby Flay's or Bobby's Burgers. What pitch do you have to them to say that it is Bobby's Burgers, that they are a right fit and they should reach out?
Yeah. So I love that question, by the way. So thank you for that. But it's truly a chef-driven concept. So when we talk about Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay, and we talk about Bobby Flay, right? You talk about him a lot. This concept is driven by him. He is our R&D department. He is active in our kitchens. It is something that when you can step back and watch, is inspiring. The menu is built by him. It's an exclusive menu by him, but it's backed by a world-class executive team that wants nothing more than our franchisees to succeed. So not only are you coming to the table, or joining a franchise that has a menu like no other, chef-driven menu, high quality ingredients, uncompromising on quality. You also have a support team that is coming to you with years of experience, whose focus is solely on helping you to succeed in the burger segment.
So if you are somebody who's looking for a franchise and that doesn't fire you up, then you should look elsewhere, because that almost sold me. I almost opened up a shop here in Ohio, and by the time this episode ends, we'll have a future conversation. But so you mentioned Bobby Flay. Obviously, his persona is undoubtedly a marketing advantage. It's something that differentiates you, not just the quality and service and franchise opportunities, in that you're going hip to hip with him throughout this experience. But how are you using that expertise to attract customers and creating a brand identity that really resonates with your target audience?
Certainly. It's a very unique situation in the sense that, yes, there's the Bobby Flay brand, and the Bobby Flay brand is very well established, very well known. He has worked hard over his career, and so we protect that, so there's that brand. What we are doing is building the Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay brand, which is different. However, in order for it to be authentic to consumers, you can't, nor would we want to deviate too much from the personality, and the expertise, of course, that Bobby brings to the table, right? So it's how do you balance both of those? And what we know is that, our brand will, because of its instant brand recognition attached to Bobby Flay, we will have trial. We will open doors, to restaurants, and people will come because they are interested in understanding and trying and tasting a meal that has been made by Bobby Flay. That we know. But what's not lost on us is the fact that once that period of first trial occurs, it's all about the experience for guests to come back. So what we are focused on is messaging the menu, as I just talked about, the high quality ingredients, the made to order aspects of the food, delivering, our team members delivering on the ultimate guest experience, because that will drive frequency and loyalty among guests. So we want to leverage Bobby Flay. Certainly, he is going to help us drive trial and drive traffic. But it is on our franchisees and us as the franchisor to make sure that guests continue to come back, because they crave our burger out of all of the others that, they have out there to choose from.
So I like that, because it's step one is they get into the door. What gets them to come back is the people that are serving them, the quality of product, the ambiance of the location, maybe the location of the franchise. But it's not. Step two is hey, it's easy to say it's Bobby's Burgers by Bobby Flay, but it's not what's going to keep them back, keep them coming. It's differentiating on that experience. It's creating a consistent product over time that people will crave and will tell their friends. Even in customer service, at the end of the day, sometimes customer service can be kind of ugly and not welcoming. But what my goal and what I always tell everybody else to do is, how do you get them to say at the end of the day, when they're sitting around the table with their family, that you got to interact with so and so. So I would say the same is true with Bobby's Burgers. Is I want them to be sitting around 24 hours, 48 hours, a week, 2 weeks, a month from now, and saying, hey, you know what? Bobby's Burgers is brand new. It's right up the road here in Chicago, and you've really check it out. And the burger's awesome. I've already came back twice, and I had this other sandwich as well.
Right.
But it wasn't just about the burger, because it ultimately is not just about the burger. It's about the whole holistic experience.
The holistic experience. You've got it. It's the environment. It's the people you interact with. Because yes, it's, word of mouth, like you're speaking of. We want to own that, right? So we want people walking out, telling their friends, posting on social. That's exactly what we want. And we have the menu. We have the menu to do that. Certainly, I'm confident in that. Our team is confident in that. It's just truly how you deliver the ultimate burger experience to guests that will get that chatter going, and so that we remain top of mind for folks. who've tried us and get them to come back. So we're excited about that.
So I look forward to it. One of the things that when it comes to the franchise is you continue to get more and more franchisees across the United States and eventually internationally. How are you focusing on creating that consistent brand across all of the locations? Because every single location is going to be a little bit different and they will have their own little challenges across each one. And so how are you focusing on creating that consistent experience across all of them?
Certainly. I do default back there to training a little bit, right? So we're making sure that recipes are understood. We have those tools and systems in place so that we can confidently know that food will be consistent across the board. And when that is known to someone like me in marketing, it makes my job of advertising that, product that much more simple, if you will. So I can feel extremely confident in what we call our food forward approach to marketing. When you look at our products, right? If anyone is out there, log on to bobbysburgers.com and you will see Bobby first pop up, but then it instantly goes into the food. And it's a back of the house video that shows the freshness and prep and whatnot. And then if you go to our menu page, it's burgers and it's big. Burgers are center plate for us. So that's what takes ownership, on the website. And it makes our story visually compelling. And when you have that very visually compelling story like we do, it drives intrigue and your mouth sort of starts to water, which is what we want. And we want people to go in and that burger that they just saw on the website or they saw on social media as advertised by marketing, it's actually in front of them on a tray, right? So I have the confidence in what we're advertising, our food forward approach and strategy when it comes to how we'll take to market, kind of the consumer look and feel of the brand. It actually comes to life. And I have the confidence in that because of how the team and training is structured for franchisees and their team members.
Yeah, that's the full journey of that life cycle of that buyer too. It's somebody either told them about it or they saw it as a post online, or maybe it was based off of this podcast. They went on to bobbysburgers.com and started creeping on the burger side and eventually found a location that was right for them.
Yeah.
When it comes to preferences are always going to change though, right? The consumer preferences, the industry trends are always going to change. How was you and Bobby and the leadership team staying on top of that and obviously focusing on the values and core values of your organization, but still differentiating on the experience?
Yeah, I love that question. And it couldn't be more true, right? And it couldn't be more daunting, actually, because I look at it as the consumer, their attitudes toward food, their preferences towards food, the inquiries they make about the food or the brands that, they're about to engage with. It's just far more sophisticated than it ever has been. So it puts the pressure on us, to meet that expectation. Well, we want to exceed it, right? And so how do we exceed it? Well, we've got a couple of tools in our pocket, right? That we'll leverage. And Bobby certainly is one of them. He has his pulse on what is new, what is different. And he likes to be new and different, and find those areas where he can help create the trends, right? He has that ability to influence and help create trends, but then he also has the ability to bring them to life in several different ways, right? In his fine dining restaurants or within our concept. And then the discipline, that a mind like mine and the team will bring is there are many consumer insights platforms out there, right? There are credible consumer insight platforms and trend modeling that you can follow. And so what we work to do is run in parallel paths and make sure that, we're working hand in hand, of course, with Bobby and his information and his intel and his pulse, but we're marrying that with true data, right? What consumers are saying they want and proving they want because of their purchase patterns or behaviors, right? So we watch both of those. And then, separately, one of the things that we've worked to establish over the last, 8 months to a year is our own voice of customer, right? So we have an online platform that we use to catch consumer insights, whether that's feedback on, creative in how our menu looks or how our rendering looks, even down to, does this recipe sound good for you? So we're talking to consumers before taking some actions at restaurant level, just to make sure that we're going down the right path with the trends we're reading about or hearing about. We're going direct to source, right? And that helps us to have some very well-informed conversations when it comes to anything associated with menu or innovation.
Yeah, you're speaking my language, voice of the customer, and seamless and ultimate experience. And it's refreshing to talk to people like yourself who get it.
Yeah.
One question I have is, for people that are nonstop on their phones, for people that are nonstop checking out Netflix and the like, Amazon Prime, on social media consistently, it's a screen dominated world, of course. How does Bobby's Burgers blend that tech and marketing to engage a digital savvy audience?
Yeah, we have to, right? It's like you kind of said, it's table stakes of the industry right now. And so how do you break through? How do you create content that'll help people stop scrolling so fast in the milliseconds that you have to capture their attention and things like that? And that's really where, as we get more into, advertising to consumers and our locations grow, that's where I do think our food forward approach is really going to resonate. Being very upfront and intrusive, if you will, on your screen with our food items, the product, the photography, all of that we're going to be able to leverage to help us certainly break through in the social media realm of things. But that's not enough, So with everything happening in AI and everything that's going on at drive-through, leveraging the technology for facial recognition so that your order pops up what you had last time. Do you want to order it again? I mean, it's just about being in the forefront of all of that tech and being a leader, quite frankly, in the fast casual world. That's what we're looking at. So we'll master, if you will, those traditional screens, but the other area of how we can bring that and capitalize on it in restaurant is something that's in the forefront of our minds too.
Yeah, I like the fact that you said master the traditional or even the foundational pieces first, because I think people try to be all things to all people, all at the same time, without actually focusing on the foundation, and the foundation starts cracking because they're trying to juggle 20 things at the same time, where they're not doing 5 of them really good.
Right.
So that's a gift to continue to lean into the other ones when you actually have that foundation or core values of what you're trying to achieve.
Right.
When it comes to marketing, this is kind of the last question I have for you around that. Is it relies on kind of those secret ingredients, and obviously when Bobby has the throwdowns that I've seen throughout the years, he always has these secret ingredients that he throws out.
Yeah.
What are Bobby's Burgers' secret ingredients that turn campaigns into maybe measurable success stories?
Yeah. I'll say pun intended and well used there as far as the secret ingredients go. I'll give you that one. No, I mean, the secret ingredients, I always will say this, and it is true. It's our franchisees, it's our operators. We talked about that sort of at the beginning. It's something that I am extremely passionate about and fully believe in. So if you have the right, if you have the right operator in the right footprint, in the right community, with the menu and the training and the support that we offer, that's the perfect recipe, pun intended. That's the perfect recipe for success. So when all of those ingredients come together, that's what it'll look like.
That's great. For the people that haven't made it, that are local to maybe the New York Yankees, they go to a Bobby's Burgers at the Yankee Stadium and then just happen to see the Yankees game, is what I hear. I don't hear it the other way around.
Right. We are the destination, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
Bobby's Burgers is the destination, and then you can take in a great game at a great venue.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my sell on that. But for the people who are local to a casino or a venue like the New York Yankee Stadium, what's your pitch to them who haven't tried it yet, but need to, and will eventually be closer to one in the years to come?
The first thing I would say is go and get Crunchified. And what I mean by crunchified, right? And that's a big point of difference on our menu. Go get a bacon crunch burger or a crunch burger, and you'll enjoy a certified Angus beef patty, Bobby sauce, cheese with potato chips, and you won't forget it. So go get crunchified.
Go get crunchified. For all of my listeners who have not been crunchified yet, go to a location nearest you and be on the lookout for the next locations. For all the people who are interested in franchising the Bobby's Burgers, listen to about halfway through this episode. I will break it down into a short for you so that you can share it with the world, but also reach out to Anne and to the team about franchising as well. I think it is a great opportunity. And, outside of bobbysburgers.com, what's the best way for people to reach out to you or Bobby's Burgers?
Yeah, no, the website is it. So go to bobbysburgers.com/franchising. There is a little form with a couple questions. You fill that out and you will get a call right back from us. So that's the simplest way.
And there's the promise right there. You will get a call back right from us. That is a differentiator as well. So Anne, thanks so much. It's been a pleasure, and wishing you guys nothing but best of luck.
Thank you, Nick. Take care.